Good day, we're here at the Sustainable Energy for All Forum, live from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so very much for spending
My
that
pleasure.
time with us.
My pleasure.
I'm here with the President of the General Assembly, Peter Thomson. Thank you so much for being with us. So first off, what is a Sustainable Energy for All Forum, and how does your office, the President of the General Assembly, interact with it?
Well, my office, of course, represents the General Assembly. I'm elected by the General Assembly. The SE for All gathering is a very important one for SDG 7, the Sustainable Energy Goal. The SE for All was something that was started under initiative from the World Bank and the Secretary General of the United Nations, who continue to sit on the board of SE for All. Which is an organization based out of Vienna. As far as its work on SDG 7, the energy goal, is concerned, it's critical, along with the International Energy Organization in Paris. The SE for All, the International Energy Efficiency Organization in Paris, I've got that title wrong, but they know who they are, and IRENA on renewable energy in Abu Dhabi. These are the important players, and then this gathering here is where we get everybody who's interested in the renewable energy sector to come along and put all their ideas together, form partnerships, energize people, pardon the pun, and it's all very positive stuff for SDG 7.
Absolutely. So maybe you could just elaborate a little bit on how SDG 7 interacts with the other SDGs and how you want to dedicate your presidency towards achieving the SDGs and also tackling climate change.
SDG 7 is part of the 17 goals, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the 2030 Agenda. These were universally adopted by the 193 member states leaders back in September 2015. So we are universally mandated to work on all 17 of these goals. Now, the beauty of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals is, firstly, they're universal. They apply to developing. Everybody's affected by them. And why? It's our future. That's why they're universal. Succeed and we will give our grandchildren a secure place on this planet. Fail and they're in jeopardy. So that's one beauty of it, the universality of those 17 goals. The other beauty is that they're all integrated. Any goal that fails will cause the others to fail. So SDG 7, the renewable energy goal, is absolutely critical to things like agriculture, health, obviously critical to climate change, SDG 13. And that then cascades on to things like, SDG 14 on the ocean and SDG 15 on terrestrial ecosystems and so on. So they're all integrated, all linked. So that's why SDG 7 is an essential part of the mix.
Yeah. No, and so you originally are from Fiji. So maybe you could give a bit of your personal perspective on how implementing SDGs on a small island state could manifest itself, and also what the climate threat means for a small island state.
Yeah, firstly, I've been in development since I started in government in 1972, and my postgraduate degree is in development. And quite frankly, about halfway through my life, I started getting disillusioned about development because I could see that growth was taking us to unsustainability. It was only when sustainability came in, thanks to Rio, and then in 2015, through the Sustainable Development Goals, that I really got re-energized, because I saw, by putting that word sustainable in front of growth, that we were doing the right thing by our grandchildren, and that we were no longer stealing from the future. So, quite frankly, if I'd had that back in the early 1970s, I would have had the 17 development goals. I would have had a perfect recipe for the work that I was doing at that time, which happened to be working on things like SDG 7 and SDG 6 and so on. But it applies all around the world, and I'm very happy to see that national governments, be it China or India or down to the smaller ones like Fiji, that the national governments have all put these Sustainable Development Goals now into their national development plans. turning to the small island developing states like Fiji, yeah, they're critical to us. You know, you only have to think of SDG 13 on climate change, SDG 14 on the oceans to see that these are existential matters for us. We in Fiji are taking the leadership in that regard. Our Prime Minister will be chair of the COP in Bonn, the COP23 for the climate change work. And Fiji government and the Swedish government will host the Ocean Conference 5 to 9 June in New York, which I believe will be the turning point for breaking the ocean out of the cycle of decline in which it is currently caught.
Absolutely, and this is really an exciting time, not only from the government's perspective, where we've got the Paris Agreement, the Sustainable Development Agenda, but also from the private sector and from NGOs, civil society in general. So what is your message to young people and to non-state actors for keeping that momentum going?
Well, I think first of all to young people, understand the logic of the SDGs, because the logic is there for their benefit, basically their welfare. Succeed in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030 and they'll live beautiful lives. Fail and their lives will be put under huge duress, be that from climate or just the failure of all the social and economic goals which are set out in the 2030 agenda. So my message to everybody is now is the time for implementation of the Paris Climate Change Agreement and the Sustainable Development Goals. Now is the time for implementation. I have set as the theme for the 71st session of the United Nations General Assembly the goal of getting implementation moving on the Sustainable Development Goals. What I want to, when I demit office, I want to see the wheels turning on each of the 17 goals. I'm holding myself accountable to that. And all of my work is directed at just getting the wheels turning, because I think once people see that the wheels are turning, it means we're heading towards a better future, and that's where we will get the snowballing of political will and social will around the world towards their achievement by 2030.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much for your leadership, and we look forward to seeing the action on the ground.
Thank you very much. Nice talking to you. Okay.